Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they have wall-to-wall coverage talking about the back-to-back Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs and probably, arguably, the best quarterback of our generation, maybe of all time, Patrick Mahomes. FullPressCoverage.com. Go there and check that out. But we are Boot to the Face. I am Chris Rucker, and I'm joined by my co-host, E.J. Reed. E.J., how the hell are you?
Man, I can't complain. Like you said, Super Bowl this past weekend. Very entertaining game. What'd you do for like a Super Bowl party?
I didn't have a party. Just watched it. You know, me and the girlfriend watched it. I made some nachos. I used ground turkey instead of ground beef this time. I don't know if anybody's entertained by that, but it brought a little different flavor. And then instead of on my second helping, instead of making nachos, I put the chips in, I put the dip on top, and I like crunched it up and made this like nacho casserole and put a fucking layer of sour cream on top. It was the best. So good.
Yeah, I just watched it at my crib. I made some guac. That's
Yeah.
the first time I ever made guac. It came out good though.
I've never tried it. I've always wanted to, but I'd rather just buy it. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, but you know, get that satisfaction of like making something yourself, and then when it comes out good, thank you, Chef Boyardee. I should have bought me one of those chef's hat.
That's why I made nachos. I could have went and bought nachos, but fired up the fucking crock pot, let them cook. I watched the first Bad Boys while it was cooking. Girlfriend's never seen Bad Boys. I watched Bad Boys 3 a couple weeks ago, and I thought, oh, she'll like this. And I thought, well, in order to watch this, like, she's got to watch Bad Boys 2. But if we're going to watch Bad Boys 2, we might as well watch Bad Boys 1. Bad Boys 1 was not as good as I remember it.
Mike Lowry. I can't remember the last time I saw the original Bad Boys. That's how it always is when you go back and watch movies like that. They're not as good as you remember them being.
No, but I mean, I've seen Bad Boys, the original, multiple times over the years. But for some reason, this time I was like, this shit is not as good as I thought it was.
Man,
Almost 30 years old.
Yeah. When you go back and look at it with like 2024 eyes, the special effects probably weren't as good when you went back and watched it. Some of the dialogue probably didn't age well and whatnot.
It wasn't necessarily nothing aged well. It was just the dialogue wasn't as, it was just like Martin going off on his random tangents all the time. It was like, he's kind of annoying. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, why are you nagging so much? He made everything like this big production when it came to when he would have to talk. He calmed down a lot more over the next couple movies, but the first movie, it was almost like he knew Will Smith was going to blow up because Will Smith had the shirt off a lot in it. So he was trying to like get his comedic thunder on.
When was the last time you seen Bad Boys 2? I remember Bad Boys 2 being better than Bad Boys 1. That usually happen.
Bad Boys 2 was way better than Bad Boys 1. First off, it had Gabrielle Union in it. So
true.
That's a thing. Bad Boys 3 had Vanessa Hudgens in it.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah. And the chick that Mike ended up dating, the policewoman. I've never seen her before, but she was not hard to look at through that movie.
Yeah, they know how to pick them, man.
Guys are so simple. Like I don't know who this lady is, but I could watch this whole fucking movie with her in it.
Yeah, they hit the jackpot with that little franchise. But before we get to wrestling, going back to the game, were you on the edge of your seat during the game?
I wouldn't say I was on the edge of my seat. Honestly, the Cowboys, I've told you, have kind of broken my will for football. And so normally I'd be like, well, I don't want the 49ers to win because then they'll have more Super Bowls and that's our rival. I was just kind of like, who gives a fuck? Like, Dallas ain't trying to win a Super Bowl. So why should I like cheer against other people? Like, whoever wins, wins. But then when the Chiefs won, I was like, hell yeah, fuck the 49ers.
I'm King Petty. You picked the Chiefs. I picked the 49ers, but I picked the 49ers to kind of soften the blow just in case Patrick Mahomes didn't come through. And I'm glad he did because he's now stopped the 49ers twice and the Eagles from getting the championship, two teams that we hate. So he's okay in my book.
No, he grew up a Cowboys fan.
Oh, he did? Oh, yeah, he's
He's
Texas.
from Texas.
Yeah, Texas. So thank you, Mr. Mahomes. And then I loved all the Taylor Swift coverage. Get people even more mad.
All 54 seconds of it.
Yeah, all of that.
So stupid. Like people are so like just fucking annoying. I ain't no Super Bowl. I ain't here to see Taylor Swift. Okay, Billy Bob. So you'd rather see a bunch of grown, sweaty men in tights than see a little pretty rich white girl. Like, and then she's up there with Blake Lively and Ice Spice. Like, so you got three hot women in the booth. You'd rather see a bunch of men tackle each other than see the camera pan to them for like 3 seconds. Fuck out of here.
Need to see them tight ends on the field.
Yeah, it was tight ends up in that fucking suite.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they barely showed her. They showed a lot more of her on like the post game coverage and
Yeah.
Kelsey out there acting a fool.
I saw her during one of the commercial breaks. They put the camera on the big screen and she chugged the beer like under 10 seconds. And so everybody that was hating on her was kind of like, oh, she ain't that bad. She chugs beers. I'm like, of course she chugs beers. She's like 30 years old.
I think, see, even people were even hating on that. Like you said, a lot of people applaud her, but even some people, listen, how you drink a beer. Shut up.
What kind of other way is there to drink a beer?
I don't know. Butt chug it. I don't know.
Yeah. Dudes that want to see a bunch of other grown men tackling each other over women are probably drinking beer through their butthole. Whatever you like, man. Whatever you like. Just quit hating on the Swiftie.
That's right.
But yeah, the Super Bowl was a good game. Commercials were decent. I love the Christopher Walken commercial. Did you see that one where he's like going about his day and everybody's trying to imitate him? And I thought honestly, like, it probably does suck being Christopher Walken because everybody probably does do that shit to him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, him and like Morgan Freeman. Everybody has a Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Ben Affleck and J-Lo Dunkin' Donuts commercial was a good one.
See, I missed that one. I don't know. Maybe I had a local commercial on at that time. I don't remember like stepping away for the bathroom. I don't know. Was that early in the game or late in the game?
I think I saw it twice, honestly, but it was before halftime because my girlfriend left to go home after halftime. So it was before halftime.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch it. But they were talking about it on CNR about that commercial, but I didn't get to see it.
That was a good one. The Christopher Walken one was a good one. I can't really remember any other ones. Any of them stand out to you?
Not really. For some reason, the preview for Wicked stood out. I don't know why.
It did. It did. You're right. It did. It made me want to watch it. I was like, I've never even seen Wicked, but
they kept showing the Timu or Temu. I don't know why they kept showing that commercial. It didn't really stand out like that, but they kept showing it.
Yeah. I noticed when they went to overtime, they started doing replays of commercials.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to seem like the old guy, but for some reason, it seems like the commercials used to hit different back in the day. I don't know why.
You know what it is? It's because when they first started doing the funny Super Bowl commercials, we didn't know. We were just like, man, that was a funny commercial, right? And they kind of built like, oh, that was a funny commercial. Like, And then the year after that, everybody else starts doing commercials. Then you're kind of expecting it. And once they run out of like ideas and shit, it's like the Royal Rumble.
Mm.
Like you expect all these surprises, and then when you don't get them, or when you get them and they're not as good as you thought they were, you just bitch about it. It's the same thing with Super Bowl commercials. We're expecting now for them to knock our socks off, and when they don't, it's like the commercials are kind of trash this year.
Yeah, it's only but so many ways you could spin an idea. Like you said, it's hard to come up with new stuff. But other than that, what about the halftime show? What do you think about that?
Loved it. I fucking loved it. Um, I did a Peloton ride on Friday. Was it Friday? Maybe it was Thursday after work last week. Got on the Peloton and the lady Allie Love, I think is her name. Look her up. Allie Love,Ally Love. I think she's mixed. She dances for Usher also, and she does Peloton. And it was the Usher playlist. So the whole next day at work, I'm listening to Usher because I did the little 30-minute ride. I'm like, man, I forgot how good Usher was. So going into it, I'm already like on some Usher shit. And it was just fun seeing him go through his Rolodex of hits and seeing people be like, man, I forgot Usher had all these hits. And I'm like, how do you forget? Like, Usher's the fucking guy. Like, if, the other guy wasn't a fucking sex pedophile or whatever, he'd be number one. But I think Usher's probably the best solo R&B guy of all time.
You can't argue that. I mean, I guess you're gonna say Michael Jackson is pop.
Yeah, King of Pop.
Prince, what a Prince up there.
I don't even think Prince is art. I don't think Prince has a category. Prince is just fucking Prince. I don't even I'd have to look that up, like what Prince is classified as, because I don't see him as R&B, but I guess he is, right?
He's like like you said, he plays his own instruments. He's rock,
I think Prince
R&B,
is just Prince. Yeah, I don't think
R&B.
I think it would be disrespectful of Prince to put a label on him.
Yeah, but now that you bring up that Usher point, I really don't have an argument against that. I mean, him and like you said, the pedophile. I think they're in two different categories because your boy Robert, he was an actual songwriter and he wrote so many songs for other artists. And Usher, was more so the performance. He wasn't really a songwriter, even though he got hits. He wasn't the songwriter. He's more of the performance. But like you said, he got smashes for days.
Right. So many good songs. Dance his ass off. Bringing back roller skating. Like if you follow him on TikTok, that roller skating shit he was doing on the halftime show, like he's been doing that for years here in Atlanta. It's funny. We were watching the halftime show, and when he went up on stage and I saw it was a circle, I was like, he better fucking roller skate. And then it didn't look like he was gonna do it, and I was getting disappointed. And he went and changed clothes, and I was like, okay, here we go, here we go.
Yeah, man. And the thing about like halftime shows, you always have people complaining, but for the most part, I've been seeing pretty much all positive feedback. You know why I think? Because Usher goes back decades. He's been around for what, 30 years now. I think he got in the game young. So you got your parents. Our parents are getting older in age. So like the super old people, that generation's pretty much died off. But your parents have music that they like the Usher, and you got, of course, our generation and even the younger generation, bump his tunes. So I think that's why you didn't probably get that much feedback. He was a safe pick. And I don't say it in like a derogatory way. Say it in the nicest way. Like it was a safe pick to pick Usher because like nobody really hates on Usher.
Yeah, and then he brought out a bunch of cool people, Lil Jon, uh I was about to say CeeLo Green after all the memes. Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris with his afro, and then Alicia Keys in that red outfit.
Hey,
That girl been fine for so long.
Usher was holding on to her a little bit
Hey,
funny.
if I ever do a music video with Gigi Dolan, y'all look out. It's gonna look just like that.
All right, Zach Wentz.
That boy can't fight. I ain't worried about him.
Right. The most unsuspecting dudes be putting them paws on people.
Man, whatever. But yeah, Usher and Alicia Keys kind of stole the show with their performance, but it was just a good performance, man. Like the only complaint I've seen people have is like he really didn't sing that much. He didn't hit the. I'm like, you see this motherfucker dancing around and roller skating and turning flips? Like
Man, you try
he was
that,
trying to,
man.
yeah, he was trying to get all his shit in within like 10 minutes and sing at the same time. But he's announced a 24 city tour now and it's starting in Atlanta. I think I
Uh-oh.
might want to go to it.
Hey, be a nice date night. Take your lady to that and enjoy some Usher.
I don't really do concerts though. Like I've only been to like 2 or 3 concerts in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Which concerts were those?
I went and saw the pedophile when he was here in Atlanta. Um, I went to the Up in Smoke tour, Dr. Dre, 50
Man,
Cent, Ice Cube, all them.
that's throwback.
Yeah, and then I went and saw Hootie and the Blowfish.
Darius Rucker from my hometown.
It's my cousin.
Yeah, and it might be.
It is.
um, yeah, I mean, I've been to a lot of concerts, but I only been to one like post COVID, so I need to get on that. I went to see Red Hot Chili Peppers in Chicago, but I haven't been. And I'm a concert goer, but for some reason, I'm kind of in no man's land because sometimes they come to St. Louis and Kansas City, but it's not like a Chicago. And Chicago's like a 6 hour drive. So,
Mm.
and I pretty much seen like most of the artists that I want to see. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Usher if the tickets weren't like terrible.
Yeah. I'd look it up because he may come to the Midwest because like I said, he's got a big tour happening. I know he's got a Vegas residency. But the last time I went to Vegas in December, I thought about it. The cheapest ticket was like $400.
Sorry, Usher. Unless if you went out and gambled and made that and just used the
I mean, I did, but
residency.
I wasn't about to fucking spend it on Usher tickets. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think I heard he just wrapped up the residency, so maybe he'll go back.
Mm.
But everybody gave it rave reviews, so I mean,
I
Usher's a good
mean,
performer, man.
yeah. Well, you want to get into some wrestling, EJ?
Let's get it.
Where should we start with wrestling?
Man, it's a
Let's
lot
start.
going on.
Yeah, let's start it. Let's start in AEW.
Oh, so you want to start off on the other
I
side
mean,
of the street?
yeah, we got a lot going on in AEW. I mean, honestly, they've kind of fallen by the wayside with all the headlines WWE's making lately, but they do have a few things brewing. Allegedly, Okada is supposed to be signing with AEW coming up. Allegedly, Mercedes Moné has already signed to the point where they've announced Big Business, a Dynamite special in Boston, Massachusetts, 2 weeks after AEW Revolution. The setup, I believe, is for 6,000 people. And pre-sale, they sold 4,000 tickets. Now, let me real quick. I'll search Wrestle Ticks real quick. But
Mhm.
while I'm doing that, what do you think about the prospective signings in AEW? And let's add in, they're also, they do have Will Ospreay. So do you think AEW is about to turn a corner with the big names that they've signed, or do you think, well, they signed big names before and they've just kind of
I
went by the
mean, uh, fall by the wayside, and what aspect you mean by that?
Miro, Jay White? Um, those are just two off the top of my head. What other big signings have they had that just kind of edge?
Yeah, I think Edge is doing fine.
Rest,
Um,
wrestling on
Mero wasn't really like that. So I don't know why he's one of those guys.
Cesaro.
He
Uh,
wasn't really like that either.
he was as far as IWC. Oh, I'm so glad this guy signed or this woman signed with AEW. They're gonna be the biggest stars in wrestling, and now they're just kind of there.
So yeah, I always group like Cesaro, Miro, Andrade, uh, even a Keith Lee to an extent to like those guys with the IWC get behind them. But no matter what company they're in, it's just a ceiling that they're gonna hit. They're never gonna be world. I mean, I won't necessarily say, you never know. They may be world champions. Same thing with like Aleister Black, but like they just gotta play their role, and they just need to quit. Fans need to quit crying about how they don't get a world title shot because they don't need a movies like that. I'll give you the Edge one. I mean, the book is still being written on Edge, and I think so far, so good. Like he said he's on Collision, but I think that was his purpose is to build that show up. So yeah, Edge. But as far back to the subject at hand, yeah, I think these definitely move the needle as far as Osprey and especially Mercedes. How many tickets you said they sold so far?
I'm looking it up now. I found the tickets that they sold, but I'm trying to see what it was in the pre-sale. But go ahead. I'll say this though, of the guys you mentioned, I think coming in, Miro was on a higher level than the rest of them. I don't think he was in the same bin with. I mean, hell, even look at Bryan Danielson. Like, this is the best wrestler in the world. Adam Cole. Like, these guys came over and they had such fanfare, and they've just, for all intents and purposes, their booking has shit the bed on them.
I think Bryan Danielson is booked perfectly in his role. He doesn't. He said himself he doesn't really want a championship run. If he wanted to, he could politic and get a championship run, but he's just there to elevate talent. Adam Cole, I'll give you that one, but this is just based on this man can't stay healthy. They gave him his own crew. They made him the devil, but it's that angle is kind of falling flat because he can't wrestle. How you gonna have the head of a faction not being able to wrestle, and he's supposed to be the one that wins the world title? So I'll give you that one, but that's got an asterisk by it just because he's hurt. But yeah, I mean, but back to Mercedes, I mean, I feel like that's a game changer right there as far as the women's division goes. And there was a speculation that she was signed to them a while ago, and people were still saving hope that she pop up at the Rumble. I thought it was a possibility she pop up at the Rumble, but hey, she took a risk on herself, and she just didn't want to fall back in the system, and she wants to see how it is outside the system when she's fully healthy, and I don't blame her for that. So I'm all about that one. The Okada one, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, but I wish he would have taken that risk and go over to WWE just because I like the juxtaposition of if he were to go to WWE and Osprey were to be in AEW because they kind of had like their little rivalry, and I just like to see like them in. I don't think they will like necessarily clash, but they might get in each other's way. And I know why Okada probably, if he is signed, this is still speculation, why he went to AEW just because he's familiar with that company and he's already wrestled there, and they got the working relationship with Japan. But I don't know. For some reason, I just wanted to see him over there in WWE just to see how it worked. Just because it seems like they've been booking Asian wrestlers a little bit better under Triple H, and Nakamura's been giving some pretty good stuff, and that would have been like a natural rivalry just because they had their history in the past. So I wanted to see him take a risk over there, but I mean, he'll do his thing in AEW.
I think Okada saw the writing on the wall that if he would have went to WWE, his ceiling was probably United States champion, and his floor was probably hanging out with fucking Tozawa. Yeah, exactly. So to me, he made the right choice. He could go to AEW and be a world champion. He could go to AEW and be a top guy. And if that's what he wants in the States, then he made the right choice, especially if AEW shelling out the money for him. And his schedule is probably a lot better in AEW. So in my eyes, he probably made the right choice. Real quick, the AEW Big Business. I pulled up the ticket stuff. They surpassed 4,000 pre-sale tickets.
That's crazy.
So before the tickets even went on sale to the general public, they sold over 4,000 when word got out that it was probably Mercedes that was coming. Now I gotta scroll back up, and I'll give you the latest from WrestleTix. By the way, if you're not following WrestleTix and you care about ticket sales and shit like that, they give you They don't just tell you what they're selling. If there's a pre-sale code for your area and stuff like that, like they tweet it out. As of an hour ago, the current setup is for 6,800 people, and they've sold 5,800 tickets. So 1,000 tickets are left. Um, the last time they were in that building was for Blood and Guts, and they had 8,900 people there. So they've scaled it down by 2,000 seats. And as of right now, they've sold 3,000 seats less than what they had for Blood and Guts. But I feel like AEW's got like a negative feeling with them when they go on the road now. Like people aren't going out of their way to see AEW anymore. Like AEW 3 years ago, if they came to your town, you're like, I gotta be there for this. Now it's kind of like, whatever. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't. And I think that's a bad place to be as a wrestling company. But I have noticed that a lot more time, especially for Collision, they're doing what you talked about, EJ. They're going to these smaller buildings where they're only getting 2,000 people in, but it's 2,000 people that are in there. And yeah, it may be embarrassing to post those numbers, but it looks better visually without just filming one side of the fucking arena and not being able to film the other side. Or motherfuckers on Twitter being like, oh, look over here where this is. Like, why people do that, I have no idea. But yeah, AEW, I like the signings. I like Mercedes. If you think about their women's division now, you'll have Mercedes, you got Deonna Purrazzo, you got Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter's probably on her way back eventually, Britt Baker's probably on her way back eventually. You got up and comers like Julia Hart. You got up and comers like I think Red Velvet's actually. I think they're liking her because she's been on TV a lot lately. You got Mariah May who's coming through doing her thing. You got you know, regular people that have been there from the beginning, like Anna Jay, that can at any time step up. Thunder Rosa just came back from injury. Paige is there. Not the best wrestler in the world, but she's a name. The stuff with Ruby Soho, like their women's division, like under the radar, has gotten a lot better the past few months.
And I know you might not want to hear this, but I think AEW Women's Tag Team belt would be perfect to introduce, especially with if those women, like you were talking about, come back and Mercedes in there. So Mercedes is definitely going to get a title run. But if you don't have Toni Storm with the belt, she could do some pretty interesting storyline stuff with Mariah May with like a woman's belt and build a storyline over that where you're just not having people just fall by the wayside once they not in the women's main championship picture. So even though they got tons of belts at AEW, I think that would actually help them out with the women's division.
I wouldn't be mad at a women's tag title. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad with the women being featured more on one show than the other.
Collision.
Either or, but just let it be known that when you watch Collision or when you watch Dynamite or hell, even Rampage, now put the women on one of the main shows because Rampage is the least of the shows, but pick one of those shows and just be like, you remember how back in the day, I don't know if you were watching back then or not, they had what they called the SmackDown 6. It was like Edge and Christian, Eddie Guerrero and Benoit, Kurt Angle. Who was the sixth one? God damn it. Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Right? You knew Monday Night Raw was for all the bullshit with John Cena and JBL and all them, but SmackDown was for fucking wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take one of your three shows. This show is for women's wrestling. You like women's wrestling? Bring your ass on over here to Rampage. Tune your ass in on Collision. We're going to have 3 or 4 women's matches. We're going to have storylines. We're going to have everything you want with the women. And then on the other shows, we might have like the world champion on one and the TBS champion on the other one.
I wouldn't be mad at that. And I have noticed lately that they've been putting more than one women's match on Collision. So maybe even hike that up by 3 women's matches and make, like you said, don't come out and announce it. Just do it. Do it.
After a while, that's what's expected.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be mad at that. But I wanted to circle back around to like perception on, the business that's going on in AEW. You got like a lot of AEW haters online that'll point to that and they'll keep harping on that. And I mean, of course, some truth in, they're not as hot as they were when they first started, but I don't think they're like in bad shape like some people would have you to believe online. That's like any company. They've been around for 5 years. WWE's been around 60 years, and we notice how hot they are in the past 2 3 years now, but we don't think about the lows they had in the 90s just because they've been around so long. So you're gonna tail off a little bit, but everything has its ebbs and flows. So I think they're just coasting right now, and all it takes is one hot storyline or one superstar to come over for it to spike back up. So I think right now they're in good shape. And like we always talked about before, they did add another show. So that kind of, it's probably going to affect the attendance for Dynamite now that you're putting on 2 shows. You're putting on, 104 shows a year instead of 52. So
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. Like, it's not as hot as it was, but I think they're still doing fine business. They're still doing big numbers with their pay-per-view attendance, and then their ratings are still like in a pretty decent range, the 800 to 900 range. So they're fine.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think AEW's in any kind of jeopardy of going out of business anytime soon. I mean, they're still signing people. I think TK needs to get somebody to help him with the booking if he doesn't have that already.
He's
And
been need to do that. He should have did that from the get-go. We don't know exactly what's going on behind the scene from what we tell. He's doing it by himself, and he definitely needs to give those, like, chop it up some and have some other people help him out with that.
right. And stop with these stupid fucking announcements.
This one actually has some sizzle to it, but he's done it so many other times. It's like the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, but your announcement on TV, all right? I live in Atlanta. You live in Central Missouri, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we give a fuck about a show in Boston? When you come on TV and you get all over social media and you say AEW, or Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, has a huge announcement, and the announcement is, hey, we're going to do a show in Boston. Why do I give a fuck?
I mean, he's kind of killing two birds with one stone. He wants people to attend it, and he wants people to watch it.
Cool. You got Twitter, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok. Put it all over there. Don't keep telling me that it's a big announcement and I have to tune in and all it is, hey, we're going to Wembley again next year. Well, I'm not going to fucking Wembley.
That's true. I don't mind him getting on TV and doing it, but don't announce it ahead of. Why don't just pop up backstage? Hey,
Yeah, just pull up.
Just like him announcing it, makes expectations higher, and most of the time he's done it has been a dud. So just pop up and just announce it. You don't have to announce it ahead of time. So I kind of like agree with you, but then I think it's like a middle ground he could do with that.
It's like we're gonna hear from Sting next week, and Sting comes out out of nowhere and says, "My last match is gonna be at Revolution." He didn't say, I got a huge announcement, blah, blah, blah. It was just a little graphic. So we're going to hear from Sting. How about this week? We're going to hear from Tony Khan instead of me seeing it everywhere. Tony Khan has a huge announcement. No, we're just going to hear from Tony Khan. Also, wait till after you make the announcement to start smelling your keys. Like, don't put your keys nowhere near your nose before you go on TV, Tony.
You think
this motherfucker. Hey, every AEW fans, I have a huge announcement, and we're going to Boston for big business. I'm like, I can't even concentrate on the announcement because I'm looking at this motherfucker like he's about to pass out.
I know that's like the inside joke with the rest of the community that he likes to ski on the slopes. Maybe he's just a jittery ass guy, like a nerd, and just
he could be. And I want to say this as delicately as possible. He could be on the spectrum, right? And that could just be quirks that he has. But I've never met anybody that has quirks like that. And I know some people with some fucking quirks. I have some. Not like that though. That's
It's levels. But how does WWE do it when Paul Levesque, Triple H comes out to make his announcement? They announce it, but they don't say huge announcements, do they?
They literally said Triple H will be on SmackDown this Friday last week. That was all it was said.
Man, just do it like that with Tony then.
Or Triple H comes to address what happened at the press release the other night. Cool. We know Triple H is going to say something.
Yeah,
You
do it
don't have
like
to
that.
say you don't have to say you're going to have a huge, I don't know. It's little things, but it's little things that AEW is not doing that make them look like a smaller league than WWE. And I know we're not talking about WWE right now, but since they got rid of Kevin Dunn, and I try not to focus on stuff like this, but it is a noticeable difference on their graphics. I was watching Raw last night. They show Cody getting out of his bus, and like it looks like it's fuck 4K. It looks like it was in 6K. And it's like 2:07 p.m. It looked like you were watching an NBA basketball game. You know, when they're doing the pre-show at the game and they're like, here comes Jalen Brunson, and they show what he's wearing when he comes in. That's what it looks like, right? And then the graphics. Becky Lynch is up next. And they had the coolest fucking graphics for Becky Lynch, just saying that she was coming up after the break. AEW needs to invest in stuff like this, man. It matters. It makes the show feel different and it makes the company look big time. And they are not doing it for whatever reason.
And what aspect are you talking about though, as far as like the production?
Production. How many times have we been watching AEW and we come on this show and we say, did you see this? If this happened, no, because it looked like the camera cut away from it. Like Hangman and who was it? Hook. Hangman came and helped Hook a couple weeks ago. They had to redo the whole thing because the cameras fucked it up. Where Hangman went to shake Hook's hand and he kind of pushed him away, and the camera cut to the crowd. And then when the camera came back, Hook was down on the ground again, even though the last time we saw him, he was standing up. And Hangman went to help him up again. Did the exact same thing because the production is not, the detail to attention is not there for their production. And it comes through so bad. How many times have we came on here and saw motherfuckers like cutting their head open and the camera's like zooming in on it?
Yeah. So I agree with you mostly, but I disagree slightly. But the only thing they definitely need to clean up, like you don't need to see any mistakes. They don't have to have any mistakes. But the only thing I disagree is I don't want them to be like a carbon copy of WWE. I think that's their charm, being like a little bit more grittier, like it not as polished. But as far as like the actual mistakes like that, like just production blunders, yeah, they need to get rid of all of that.
So here's my rebuttal to that though. What did AEW tell us they were gonna be when they first came around? We're gonna be an alternative. We're gonna have a more sport-like feel. Well, WWE gave you 4 years to do it before they decided to go to a more sports-like feel. What did I just say? It looks like the NBA when you're watching WWE. They're showing guys arriving at the building and what they were wearing and shit like that. I don't know. To me, that just one shows big league and one shows AAA.
Dang, I mean, I know they signed the guy from WWE, but he's been there for like a year now. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe so that thing what you said with Hook and Hangman, how long ago that happened?
It was like a month ago. That was when Hook fought Samoa Joe.
Okay, well, it's 2024. This is their chance to turn the corner as far as like the blenders.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I don't want people that are listening to this to think that I'm like hating on them to shit on them. I'm saying what I'm saying because I want them to do better. Like, it's like me talking shit about the Cowboys. Like, I'm not doing it because I'm one of those fans that hates my favorite team. I'm doing it because I want you to do better. Like, when your parent would get mad at you and be like, I'm just disappointed in you because I feel like you can do so much. That's how I feel about AEW. They have so many good wrestlers and so many good people that are there. And it's just like, we've been waiting 4 and 5 years for them to get their head out of their ass and get this shit in gear to the point where it's getting frustrating now. Like, what am I paying money for? What am I buying your pay-per-views for? Why am I going out of my way to watch your TV show besides the fact that I'm just a wrestling fan and I'm gonna watch it? I'm There was a time in WWE where everybody was hate watching WWE. I feel like we're headed that way for AEW if they don't get their shit together.
I don't know if it. I don't think it would get that bad, but you never know. Never say never. But right now, with their signings, they're heading on the right track, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
Okada and Ospreay just fucking let it run. Um, we have new tag team champions in AEW.
Yes, sir.
What? 65 years old, EJ. 5 years away from being 70. And this motherfucker is jumping off of off of the fucking stanchions or whatever you would call it on the next level on the big cast. Is he human?
He's not human, man. We need to check Sting's blood. When he did that, I jumped up. I'm like, let's go.
I saw him when he was walking up the steps. I was like, my guy's about to just go jump off the top of something right now. You know what I was thinking the whole time? He better not get hurt before Revolution.
He's been doing this for the past 3 years now. He got it.
My boy threw caution to the wind. He said, I know we got 16,000 people coming to Greensboro, but I'm jumping off this balcony right here. Just a really good match. I know there's a lot of people complaining like Ricky Stark shouldn't be losing to a 65-year-old man. This is not a 65-year-old man. That's Sting.
Yeah. Okay. And they did a good job of like showing Stark's hesitancy of like wanting to do it, and that's where he messed up because he was hesitant to doing it.
That's a good point too.
So it's not like he was going all out and Sting just powered up on him. He hesitated, and it's like in any other like sport or anything, you hesitate, that's your ass.
I love that because Starks is such a dickhead, right? But even he was like, man, this is my fucking guy. Like, I can't do this shit to him. And then he looked over, saw Sting beating on his chest. He's like, motherfucker, what? And Sting caught him with the death drop. Bam. First off, I want to make sure that I give props to Big Bill. I called him Big Cass a minute ago, but definitely the MVP of this match. This dude has improved so much over the past few years. Not just in the ring either. Like his body is like motherfucker's shredded now. And you know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Baron Corbin.
I kind of like him more than Baron Corbin.
I mean, you can like him more than Baron Corbin if you want, but I'm saying, and I'll go a little further. When WWE puts Baron Corbin in main events with Roman and Kurt Angle and all these guys, you don't like Baron Corbin, but you never notice that Baron Corbin is fucking up. You know why? Because he's not. He's always where he's supposed to be. He's always putting on good matches. He's always being the big guy that like catches everybody and does everything. And that's how I feel Big Bill is. I feel like Big Bill is in that Baron Corbin zone where people are going to make fun of him and talk shit about him and all that. But when you think about it, when the bell rings, guy's a fucking beast.
Yeah. Like you said, Baron Corbin, sometimes he's too smooth for his own good because, like you said, he doesn't mess up, but he's not doing flippy dippy stuff. He's just a solid guy in the ring. But back to Big Bill. And let me say this, Darby Allin, you're a swell fella. We want you to wrestle for the next 20 years or so. But the way you wrestle, you're not going to make it. Did you see that boss man slam that Big Bill did on him on the outside? Oh, my goodness. I thought he killed the kid.
Man, all I can say is any motherfucker that was with Gigi Dolan and doesn't stay with her for life, I don't trust him. So,
what does that have to do with almost getting killed?
That's Darby Allin. He was with Gigi Dolan and they're not together anymore. So if you were with Gigi Dolan and y'all broke up for whatever reason, I don't trust you. Whatever.
So you just say, since you don't trust him, whatever happens to them happens.
Hey man, it is what it is. You won't throw caution to the wind by leaving Gigi Dolan? I don't trust you.
Man, this man just throws caution to the wind and just throws his body like a battering ram or something. It's crazy.
You know, in the past like 13 seconds, I have understood Darby Allin.
Okay.
Gigi Dolan leaves you. What you got to lose?
Oh snap!
Fuck it. Yeah, throw me down these steps. Nothing that you can do to me physically is gonna hurt me the way it hurt me when Gigi walked out.
He said he's going on suicide missions now.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. All I'm saying is, my boy, I understand it. When that one leaves you, you say ain't nothing you can do to me physically that's gonna compare to the pain of her breaking my heart like that. What can Big Bill do that's gonna hurt Dark? Gigi Dolan left.
Hey, I don't know if I can argue against that, man, but we still want to see the kid wrestle, even though he did lose a GG.
Then you gotta look on Instagram and see her going to Disneyland and shit with this motherfucker from AEW, not AEW, TNA.
I wonder if Wentz and Darby got smoked.
I doubt it.
I don't want to get too much into inside baseball on the show, but I heard that Darby was doing some grimy shit behind the scenes with Gigi.
Oh, you had to tell me about this later.
Yeah, I don't want to. Just in case I'm wrong, I don't want to get too much into that.
I need to know about this. Yeah, Darby and Sting, new tag team champions. I love it. The Young Bucks come out, beat the dog shit out of them, beat up Sting's kids. By the way, Sting's kids, why are they not wrestling?
It looked like he spit those guys out. Like they look exactly like Sting.
Well, I know one of them played college football and he was really good and he was trying to be an NFL prospect, but like they look like Sting from 1997.
Yeah, they did. I'm like, man, what kind of genetic Sting got? Strong ass genetic. Yeah, like you said, I'm surprised they never tried to get into the business. I don't know how old they are. They're probably like around my age or so, probably.
Yeah, about early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they look like mini Stings, and sometimes you want to go down a different path than what your parents go down. So maybe that's why they didn't go into the business.
As a fan of Sting, one thing I know about this guy,
Mhm.
he got a lot of money. He did real estate. He owned gyms. He did a lot of shit outside of wrestling. Very smart with his money. I'm guessing that his kids are probably in whatever family business that he has, and they're like, "Why would I beat my body up? I can just lift weights and look like I do what you do."
and then Tony Khan probably overpaid him, so that's icing on the cake.
I don't know if you can overpay Sting. I mean, 16,000 people going to Greensboro of all fucking places.
That's true, but he's still a legend at this point. He's not wrestling every week. I'm sure he's getting paid 7 figures. So,
Yeah, but you got to think of all the merch and shit like that Sting brings in, and
yeah, that's true. Sting's a legend, so I'm not mad at it. Overpay him as much as you want, Tony.
yeah.
But going back to the Young Bucks, how do you feel about the angle? I mean, the only thing I hate about them winning the belts is because they're kind of like telegraphing what may happen at Revolution. But how you feel about them stealing the thunder like right after they won it?
I disagree. I think because of that angle, Sting and Darby are winning.
I don't know, man.
You beat this man's kids up, and now you're gonna beat him on his last match before he retires. For what? The Young Bucks aren't. I know their names are the Young Bucks, but they're pretty fucking old. Like these aren't up and comers that need the rub from Sting.
Well, you might not like how I laid us out. I can see them like barely losing to the Young Bucks. The music is off. Everybody's all sad. And then a big thank you Sting chant. Sting looking kind of sad. And we sent him off like that.
Nah. Sting's winning. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of way he gets both of them in a Scorpion Deathlock and make them tap out.
I know you said AEW likes to do tournaments, so that's what they have to do.
Oh
But
yeah, Tony Khan sitting there looking at a tournament just like this right now, like tag team turmoil. Let's do it.
I just think that the easier route is for the Bucks to go over. I might be wrong, but once it gets closer, we'll do our official picks. I might change my mind in
I'm
between
gonna
now
tell you
and
my
then.
pick now. Sting's winning.
Well, there you had it. I did
I got
like, even though I don't like the Bucks, I did like how they had the white suits on and had the blood all over them.
yeah, that was a good touch.
That was pretty cool. But I don't like those guys, so fuck them.
I don't like the Bucks either, but I'll tell you, I like this. I like the version of them that they are in right now. I really do.
And you said it before. They like, yeah, I get it. Like I get how they're trying to go heel and trying to be sarcastic, but it still just rubs me the wrong way. Like, oh, now you're trying to be sarcastic about the EVPs. You didn't do it when you had a chance to make money. So like, I'm like, get out of here. It's a little bit too late.
Better late than never, though.
Yeah, but for what? Like, it's coming across good on screen, I guess. But like, are you making money with it really? Like, who's coming to see the Bucks? We're coming to see Sting.
Oh, we're coming to see Sting beat the fuck out of the Bucks. That's the point of being a heel.
Okay. Well, after Sting retires, let's see if that momentum carries. And I don't think it will. I might be wrong. I don't know. Just the Bucks just rub me the wrong way.
I conventional wrestling wisdom will tell you that the Bucks are going to win. But this isn't conventional. This is Sting's last match. He's one of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling. He's outlasted everybody from the late 80s and 90s era. They're all gone. Hogan's gone. Macho's gone. Flair's gone. Vader's gone. Luger's gone. Anybody you name from that era, they're gone. And Sting is still here, still kicking ass. You booked his last match differently. If I'm Tony Khan, I sit down with Sting and I say, I know you want to lose. I know you think that going out on your back is the way to go. But I don't give a fuck. You still work for me. And until Revolution is over, you still work for me. You're winning. And then you're going to come to Atlanta that Wednesday night for Dynamite, and you're going to relinquish the titles. And that's going to be the last time people see you on TV is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, where the home of WCW, where people love you.
If it were a guy who just got ousted of a company a couple weeks ago, I say, yeah, if he like put his foot down and he would do something like that. But Tony Khan doesn't have the balls to do that. Whatever Sting wants to do, I think what's going to happen.
Call me, Tony.
I don't know.
DM Boot to the Face on Twitter or X.
Yeah.
I'll tell Sting he's got to win.
I mean,
and then I want to interview. That's my dream interview, by the way.
Tony Khan?
Sting.
Oh, Sting. I think we get it.
I'm halfway there. My two interviews that I ever wanted were Mickey James and Sting, and I got half of it.
I think the Sting interview is possible, especially with him retiring. He's gonna have shit to do. So let's make that happen.
You know who else I want to interview?
Who's that?
A random one, Ronda Rousey.
Huh? Why?
I'll text you why. I don't want to say it on the air in case somebody else interviews her that listens to this and they ask her the question I want to ask her. But there's one specific question that I want to ask Ronda Rousey.
And you think that'll like get people talking? The question you want to ask?
It's not about getting people talking. I just want there's something that I want to know. And I think she would answer it. And I think she would answer it honestly. And there's one thing that I want to know about her run with the WWE.
Hey, Stay tuned. Might get that in the future too. She's not really doing anything. I don't know what happened to that little ROH stint she did. She just popped up once and then went back.
She saw how Athena was beating bitches down. She said, I don't want that smoke.
Pretty much. Shout out to Athena.
Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
EJ, let's talk a little bit of TNA right now. News came down the pike this past week that the president of TNA, Scott D'Amore, had been fired. Not we didn't renew his contract. Not he's seeking other teams for a trade or anything like that. Fired. Go home. We don't want you no more. As a TNA watcher, how do you feel about this?
When I first saw it, I was a little bit confused because he's the one that's been spearheading them even going back to TNA from Impact Wrestling. And he's been kind of like the face behind the scenes and he's been the rah-rah guy. And from what I've been hearing, everybody backstage liked him as far as the talent goes. So it was kind of a head scratcher. And I haven't really done any more extensive research outside what I've been hearing, like on podcasts and stuff. But from what I've been hearing, they say that he may have been rubbing like the head honchos and people on the corporate side the wrong way by trying to make it more so about him than the actual company. So if that's the case, then I don't really know what to really say about that because I'm sure the people behind the scenes know how to run a company better than what I do, but you also don't want to upset your talent because I'm hearing like a lot of talent are upset and maybe some people even want to walk. So I feel like it's definitely a complex situation to talk about.
From what I heard, he wanted the budget to be a lot better, and the people that own TNA didn't want it, and it was a constant fight to the point where he offered to buy TNA.
Man, his pocket's that fat?
He basically told them, y'all are doing such a shitty job at running this company. I want to buy it from you so I can run it better.
Got a little
I
bit
don't
too
know
big
how
for his
fat
britches.
I don't know how fat his pockets are, but that's the word going on backstage. But I will say this. Yeah, he was on TV a lot. Yeah, he had a match with Bully Ray and stuff like that. But I haven't seen one negative tweet or post from a wrestler from TNA about him. Everybody that's posted about him, it's been positive.
So you think that something that we're not hearing about hasn't been revealed? It could have been just budget. Maybe something
It,
that we don't know about.
yeah, you know, I don't want to like speculate on stuff like that, but it definitely seems bigger than what they're saying. And we'll probably never know.
Unless he comes out and has like a tell-all interview or something like that.
Well, if it's something he did, why would he tell it? You know what I mean? Like
True.
they found out this motherfucker was expensing fucking hookers in Vegas when they go there or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he ain't gonna tell that. I'm not saying that's what he did. That's just the first thing that came to mind because TNA was just in Vegas.
So the guy that they put in place, I think is an Anthem guy, but I don't think he's a wrestling guy. You think that's a good idea to put somebody who's not a wrestling guy into a position like that?
Oh my God. Sorry. Tatum Paxley's wrestling Lola Vice, and the Tatum Paxley just did a counter that I've never seen before. That was phenomenal. Um, if you, it didn't work out for WCW. They wanted to put people in place that were more TV people than wrestling people. And sometimes it doesn't work out like that. You can have all the boardroom people you want be non-wrestling people, but the people in charge of the actual wrestling need to be wrestling people. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of worried because TNA had such good momentum for the past 2 years, man. Like for the longest time, TNA was the joke They were the butt of the joke. Oh, you watch TNA, or you watch Impact, you're a loser. And now it's like, yeah, I watch Impact. You don't watch Impact? And what the fuck? You call yourself a wrestling fan? You don't watch Impact? So I'm worried that this will halter their momentum that they had, but we can only wait and see what happens. You won't start seeing a change until probably next month sometime because they've already recorded the episodes where Demore was still in charge.
I'm more worried about talent morale. Like if you got a bunch of disgruntled talent, then it's gonna come across your TV as people not being motivated and people might not want to sign there. They've been getting like some pretty decent signings, maybe not full time. I don't even know what Nemeth's contract is, but they just got him. Ali's been doing stuff there. They got the former Dana Brooke, Ash, and now you maybe have a free agent. They're like, we just saw you got rid of the wrestling guy. I don't know if I want to go over there now.
I would just be like, hey, if you come to TNA, you get to watch Killer Kelly make her entrance every week.
Sign me up. That's what but yeah,
we are such horny motherfuckers on the show. My God. And when I say we, I mean me. It's all it has nothing to do with you, EJ. You're just here, like witnessing what's happening.
but in all seriousness, I'm hoping it works out. And like you said, we're not going to see it until next month or so. And I want to see TNA do well. I watch it on a regular basis, and I think it's even like I said, it's good to have AEW as like the alternative, but it's also good to have even the TNA tier that may be like a notch under that as well.
Yeah,
more jobs, the healthier the business is.
And I think with TNA, they have really good wrestlers, and they have really good management. Besides, like I don't think Demore was doing everything by himself, but if you look at like where they go, how they record things, they always go to cities that have a good turnout for them. They always go to places during their pay-per-views that have a good turnout for them. So I don't think he was doing all that by himself. So unless they change something drastically with creative, I don't think you'll see much of a change. Yeah, the morale might be a little different, but at the end of the day, these are all professionals.
But wasn't Demore, didn't he have his hand in a lot of the creative? I'm just wondering who's going to handle that.
The way Tatum Paxley just tapped out, I could only dream.
Thanks for the spoiler.
Sorry, you're right. So my goal from here on out is to not talk about NXT throughout the podcast recording anymore after right now.
I don't know if that'll be possible with
ever
all of the oh, let me phrase this the right way.
I know what you're gonna say. So the thing is, like, I don't have time to watch NXT, so I kind of have it on in the background while we record. But I'm gonna have to start making time to watch it some other time because I do need to quit talking about it so much while we're. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn it off. Damn. There we go.
Hey, you could always watch it right after Dynamite. I know sometimes you don't watch Dynamite on Wednesdays too.
Dynamite ends at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
I'm 41 years old. You think I'm staying up till midnight to watch wrestling?
Or add it to like the Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, it is. I've talked about it before, but like, so my kids are 15 and 12, so they sleep in a bunch. And my girlfriend's a lot younger than I am, so she still sleeps in a lot. So on the weekends, I'm up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's very like not fun, but like it's a part of my routine on Saturdays and Sundays to wake up and just like make my coffee. Saturdays I might make a Bloody Mary and just sit here and watch wrestling in the morning time. It is like Saturday morning cartoons. So maybe I will add NXT to it if I can stay off social media for 4 days.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of NXT spoilers on my timeline. It might be different for yours. But the SmackDowns, the Raws, the Dynamites, definitely just stay off the internet for those.
Let's go ahead and get into the big topic of the week, EJ. Let's talk WWE and WrestleMania. This past Thursday in Las Vegas, my favorite city in the world, WWE had a press conference. All hell broke loose. Basically, what happened is Cody Rhodes decided he wants to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Roman told Cody, "You're an afterthought, just like your dad." And Cody didn't do shit. He just stood there and took it. And then Cody said, "Well, your grandparents and The Rock's grandparents will be disappointed in you." And The Rock slapped the shit out of him. How is your babyface constantly letting people talk shit about his dad, who his entire storyline is about? And people talk shit about this man all the time, and Cody don't do nothing. And the one time he says, "Well, I'm gonna fire back and talk about your family," motherfucker knees buckled. He got slapped so hard.
Got the fire slapped out of him. I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question. It's just how the cookie crumbles, huh?
Tell me how you feel about the WWE having a plan that The Rock was going to fight Roman Reigns, and the fans cried and bitched and moaned so much that they changed it. You like that or you don't like that?
See, it's like this is a nuanced question because I have my theories. But before I get into my theories, you told me Rock and Roman was set in stone. Are you gonna die on that sword?
I still want Rock and Roman.
And
that's what was announced.
Me too,
but
I had
announced.
Me too, but last week I asked you the question, like, you think it's set in stone, because I had a feeling that they might pivot off it, but you're like, yeah, it's set in stone. I'm like, okay. But getting back to your question, I think, you know what I think happened? I think Punk is the reason why we're getting this kind of convoluted thing, because I think that the plan was for Cody to face Roman. That's why he won the Rumble. But then when Punk got injured, they're like, yeah, Rock throw that little tidbit out there. Maybe since we don't have Punk and Rollins, maybe we could pivot towards Cody and Seth, and maybe the fans won't say anything. And they kind of like dip their toes in the water with that. And of course, fans were crying and bitching and moaning. So like, let's take our feet back out of the water and go back with the plan that we originally had. So I think that's what happened. I might be wrong.
I would love to know what the WrestleMania card would be if Punk didn't get hurt.
That's something that we probably won't know maybe ever, or maybe like 20 years down the line when they do a document, like a documentary on it.
Because I feel like Cody would have been fighting Randy Orton.
You think so? So
I don't think Cody would have won the Rumble. I know everybody's saying, "Oh, Cody was supposed to win the whole time." Blah blah blah. I don't think he was. I really don't.
You think they did an audible? I don't know about. Yeah. See, I don't know about that.
I think because how else would you have The Rock fight Roman if excuse me, if Punk doesn't win? Punk challenges Rollins. The night he challenges Rollins, The Rock comes out and challenges Roman Reigns. Cody comes out. I want to fight Roman Reigns, and out of nowhere gets RKO'd.
I don't know. That's a good theory, but I heard before Punk got hurt, he was supposed to be at the Chamber. So I think Cody May is supposed to win. Maybe Rock threw that tidbit out on that first episode. Maybe he's trying to set it up for a different date. Maybe next year's WrestleMania or a Saudi show. Because
I just feel like if Punk doesn't get hurt, this whole thing is different now. I'm not mad at where it is though. I'm always a fan of heel Rock. And if people are going to be complaining and bitching and booing and the shit I've seen on Twitter lately, The Rock's never been good and The Rock's always been washed and The Rock's corny as hell. Like, I saw a motherfucker, and he deleted his tweets because I went and looked for him. About a year ago, he's tagging The Rock and everything, and I love all your Under Armour stuff, and you're my favorite, the people's champ. And now he's calling The Rock everything but a child of God. And in one video, he's wearing The Rock's Project Rock stuff, Under Armour shit, because the guy was working out. And I'm just like, people are such sheep.
Yeah. And I think it's fickle fans. I think it's a lot of Gen Zers and a lot of the younger millennials that having a 180 because either they weren't old enough or they weren't alive to see how Rock really was like that back in the day. And so I mean, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't weren't there to witness it, and I don't know, it bothers me, but I'm not gonna cry about it. Like the fans' reaction to it.
It does piss me off when I see people talking shit about The Rock. I'm like, you have no fucking idea. Like, you're 25 years old. You have no idea how when this guy came on the scene and he finally turned heel, and you watch him wrestle guys like Triple H and Austin and The Undertaker, and just how much better in the ring he was than all of them. And he stuck around for like 7 years before he went to Hollywood. He didn't even stay around. He was that good. He made that big of an impact in such a small amount of time and then went to Hollywood. Like, you have no idea. Your fondest memory of The Rock is him versus John Cena, where he was fucking 280 pounds of muscle and could barely move. That ain't The Rock. That's not The Rock I know. The Rock I know would fucking duck your clothesline, hit the ropes, hit a flying clothesline, do a kip up, and just stop in the middle of the ring. And everybody would stand up and cheer for him. A float over DVT. Like, this guy was so good. So fucking good in the ring when he used to wrestle. And for people to think that just, oh, well, the 45-year-old Rock that I saw wrestle John Cena, that's who I remember. That's not the nigga I remember.
Yeah. People just they choose to like stay ignorant. Like, you got the WWE network. Maybe you don't have the time to go back and watch it, but maybe because you're not in the moment, you don't feel how big he was, like even before he got into Hollywood, and just the audacity of y'all is to even besmirch The Rock's name like that. It makes me sick. But
It really does.
Like you said, I like how he's flipping it around and giving you the heel side of himself. And if y'all boo me, then fuck y'all. Then I'm gonna go full heel.
It really, like, I love Cody, right? I'm a big Cody fan. I've said this a million times on here. It really makes me want to cheer against Cody.
Me too. And that, like, for some reason, I think deep inside, down inside, y'all don't really like Cody like that. Like you said, the sheep, because everybody else, you got a few people that really, really like Cody, and then it just kind of like spread like wildfire. They like Cody. I like Cody. You got like podcasts and radio hosts not making it better. The ones that have kind of started this movement. I won't name people, but like you said,
and then his
like
little
wildfire.
Whoa, that's a big deal too.
People like that. He's not defined by his theme song like quite like Seth, but yeah, that does add to it. That whoa.
I'm gonna say it now. Cody's losing at WrestleMania.
I'm leaning towards picking Roman as well. I hope so.
This is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted Cody, and now he's gonna lose, and you got nobody to blame but yourself. And you know how he's gonna lose? This is the part you probably didn't know about, EJ. I realized this last night during Monday Night Raw. They're gassing up a wrestler to get you to remember him, and he's gonna turn heel at WrestleMania.
Who's that?
You don't want to take a guess?
You said they're gassing up a wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Active roster?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Jey Uso?
Sami Zayn.
Oh. Him and Cody have been doing like backstage stuff.
If you paid attention to his little interview he had last week, he was like, a year ago, like, I was the guy. Everybody wanted me to win. Remember, a year ago, people didn't even want to see Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. They wanted Sami Zayn to win the title.
They did. fickle.
Sami Zayn's gonna be like, Cody, you motherfucker. Like, what makes you think you're better than me where you can talk down to me? I'm not joining the bloodline, but I'm not letting you beat Roman Reigns either.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Sammy was always a better heel than he was a babyface.
I don't know though. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I don't know how I see Sammy as like a serious heel. I like enjoyed it when he was like a chicken shit heel.
I agree.
But if he's like a serious heel, he could pull it off. But would you enjoy that? I guess.
I'd enjoy him costing Cody the title. So I can see Twitter have a fucking meltdown.
So the direction that they're going in now, people saying triple threat, people saying Roman works both nights. Where do you see it
You
going?
can't even get this motherfucker to work twice in a month. And y'all talking about working twice on a weekend? Get out of here.
I'm just seeing how the Rock fits into this all. Does he not even wrestle? Is he just a special enforcer?
Maybe The Rock wrestles in the Elimination Chamber and fights Seth.
Inside, like you want Rock to tear all the muscles off his body in an Elimination Chamber?
He ain't got to. He just come in rock bottom 5 times. 1, 2, 3.
So you're saying Seth 1-on-1, not an Elimination Chamber match?
No, I'm saying Rock wins the Elimination Chamber. Somebody gets hurt that qualifies. Rock comes out, wins, and now it's him and Seth at WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be mad at that because
I think The Rock is going to be around a lot longer than people think. They think he's just coming in for one shot. Like, I think The Rock's going to be back for a while.
that's what they're saying. They're like to see how watch how it plays out. Like him and his the dude who writes for him, and like just stay and take the ride with us or whatever. So you might be right. I mean, I feel like he has an interest in it now that he's on the board. So why wouldn't he like be more active if he's got a financial aspect tied into it now?
Agreed.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw him at next year's WrestleMania. You know, sporadic appearances, not saying he's full-time WWE, but doing like popping up and doing some of the bigger shows. I could see that happening, and maybe he does get the Saudi bag. I'm sure they'll show. I could see them. All right, we'll pay you $40 million to come over here, Rock. They pay the boxers that. I can see them paying the Rock that to go over there for a Saudi show. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this whole WrestleMania thing. I like that WWE's fluid enough to say, all right, we're not going to be stubborn like we were with Roman and Daniel Bryan for the longest and all this other shit. But I am intrigued. I'm about to go buy me a People's Champion t-shirt now because fuck all y'all that are hating on The Rock. WrestleMania's going to be fun this year. Sucks it's in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're not a fan of Philly.
Philly and St. Louis, 2 biggest shitholes in this country.
Not a fan of St. Louis either. I mean, I'm not a fan of St. Louis because I don't live there, but even though it's pretty close. I mean,
Yeah, the town's a shithole.
I like going to KC a little bit better, and the food is better in KC. That barbecue slaps. But yeah, man, we're fully on the road to WrestleMania. I guess that ties into another topic that I had penciled in. They got the qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber, so you're gonna go off on a limb and say The Rock wins it, huh?
No, I was just talking shit. He's not even in the fucking match. I think it's clear that Drew McIntyre is going to win and fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And I think it's clear that Becky Lynch is going to win and fight Rhea Ripley.
So do you like in the Triple H era, we all applaud that everything makes sense, but doesn't that make it a little bit predictable that they are making sense? Because like you said, we already know it's probably going to be Drew and Becky. I think that kind of takes out a little bit of excitement, though, kind of already knowing who's about to win it, even though it makes sense.
I feel like sometimes predictable is not a bad thing.
And sometimes it is, though.
Listen to the crowd at that press conference when Becky came out and challenge and basically told Rhea like it's gonna be me and you. That's what people want. People want Becky and Rhea. Give it to them.
Yeah,
Drew Mc,
that makes sense. Go ahead.
Drew McIntyre has been knocking it out the park lately. There's nobody. I'm a Lashley guy. Of all the people that are there, Lashley's my favorite wrestler in that tournament. But I want to see Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of Seth Rollins and take his belt.
That makes sense as well. But I know you won't like to hear this. What if they like swerved us and have LA Knight win it?
And then have Damian Priest cash in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Because he's still got to get rid of that briefcase before Money in the Bank comes around again this year.
What's the latest somebody's ever held that title? I mean, not title, the briefcase.
Ziggler had it after Mania. Seth had it at Mania. Maybe Carmella did it the week after Mania. Didn't Damien Sandow have it for a while?
I wasn't watching during.
Or Mr. Kennedy, somebody like that. But I know people have waited till before or at Mania. Seth cashed in at Mania, and Carmella and Dolph Ziggler both cashed in the show after Mania. So,
Well, since Damian Priest had it this long, why don't you throw another wrinkle in that, something they haven't done before? Why don't they have like he need to beat the clock before they crown a new one at Money in the Bank?
that'd be fun.
Something like that. But I have a feeling, like you said, they're gonna tie it into WrestleMania somehow, or the night after WrestleMania. I feel like whoever faces Seth is probably gonna win it or about to win it, and he'll then cash in. And I don't know how I feel about Priest as the World Heavyweight Champion.
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Priest fan. Maybe you don't think he might fail on his attempt?
He might, but I still think he's cashing in.
We'll see. I mean, Roman's been burying Seth every chance he gets, so Seth's gotta hype this match up, and they gotta build up the hype for this match, so he doesn't seem like he's second fiddle. How about this? This is going back to the Rock stuff. I've been hearing chirps about maybe like a tag team match of some sort between Cody and Seth and Rock and Roman.
That's the way it looks. The way they set that WrestleMania preview commercial up, it definitely looks like a tag match. A lot of people have been speculating maybe that's the night one main event, but I just don't see Roman working twice.
I mean, if it's a tag team match, you're not doing as much work.
He's gonna have to do all the work because The Rock's his partner.
That's true, but you know, it'll be a Roman match. He'd slow it down, pace himself. But I think the payoff is going to be they're going to get people to hate The Rock, but then somehow he's going to shake it out with Cody, and then the fickle fans will go back on Rock's talk, which needs to happen. I can see that playing out like that. Because, like I said, this Rock hate is ridiculous, and I'm not here for it
At all. Well, EJ.
Yep.
We got SmackDown coming up this week with The Rock and Roman going to be in the building. Triple H was out there talking cash shit last week while they weren't in the building. So this will be fun to see what happens. I really enjoyed the press conference with all the cussing and shit, even though they bleeped it all out. Like I loved that it felt real. Then you had your boy Chick Magnet Punk out there. You know, he had to get his 2 cents in. Like I ain't got no problem giving coworkers these hands.
I'm gonna say you saw the look that The Rock gave him in the background.
Oh yeah, The Rock was like, bring your punk ass up here if you want to.
Yeah, he's like, I know this guy ain't talking.
Didn't I beat your ass already at Royal Rumble?
with your one arm talking
Right.
big shit, like you could do something.
But yeah, I enjoyed the press conference. Let's get to these power rankings, EJ, and get the hell up out of here.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. I think I went first last week. I know you did your number one last week. So.
Well, let me think. Becky qualified last week, so she doesn't count. I have my top two. I need to think about. You know, my number five, Mello. Boy
Okay.
came out multiple times on NXT last week after turning on Trick, and I thought he kind of stole the show on NXT last week.
Okay. Uh, I heard they had to tell the people at NXT to calm down with the "FU Mel" chants and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's getting heat. I still don't really know what they're gonna do with Dragon. I feel like the belt should have been on the line, but they don't necessarily need a belt for that feud. And they got to keep Trick off TV for a while though.
Oh yeah,
he
he's
because
got to Melo's got to win the title, and Trick's got to come back like 3 weeks before the WrestleMania NXT show.
yeah, because he did a number on that knee with that chair.
Beat the shit out of him.
My number five qualified for the men's not money in the bank, the elimination chamber match. Drew McIntyre, like you said, he's been cooking, and it looks like they're leaning towards him being the one that faces Seth at WrestleMania. And they just need to put the belt on him, even if Priest Cass is in, just so he could quote unquote have his moment. But that's my number five. My number four is probably my match of the week, even though a lot of people don't like matches ending in draws. I got Swerve Strickland. He stayed the number one contender. Him and Hangman had that banger, and now it's gonna be a triple threat match at Revolution. And so the matches are starting to shape up for Revolution, and you'll be in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So should be a fine show.
My number four. We normally don't do independent wrestling and stuff like that, but she's a friend of the show. She's the first ever Slam women's champion over across the pond. The British Amazon, Heidi Katrina, won the Slam Women's Championship this weekend. So shout out to her. She's my number four in the Wrestling Power rankings. Um, my number three, there's so many people I wanted to put here. Bobby Lashley was one. Drew McIntyre was another. Liv Morgan, big win. But I'm gonna go with main event Jey Uso.
Mm.
Big time win last night, teaming with the New Day, take on Imperium. I'm not a fan of Jay versus Gunther on Raw. I hope that it's some kind of bullshit finish and they get a pay-per-view match out of this. Um, the vibe that Jay brings is really good. Like him challenging Gunther in that match so many times, and then Gunther fucking cowering down and being like, once somebody hits you from behind, I'll come in there. I'm here for it. And Jay's got just a cool wrestling style, like the movements and shit that he does when he wrestles. It's just it's nothing nobody else is doing right now. So I'm here for the Jay Uso Gunther Intercontinental title feud. Honestly, I hope it goes through Mania. I don't give a fuck about Jimmy versus Jay anymore. We saw it at the Rumble. Give me Gunther defending the title against Jay Uso at WrestleMania and Jay winning.
I still think they're gonna do the Jimmy and Jay.
But which
But
would you rather see? Would you rather see Jay beat Gunther for the IC title and stop his historic reign? Or would you rather see Jimmy versus Jay and Jimmy cheat somehow to get like a roll up or some shit, like a fucking footnote in WrestleMania and it doesn't even matter anymore?
I wouldn't mind seeing Jay win the IC title, but I just feel like I'm a traditionalist. I feel like whoever beats Gunther needs to beat him to get elevated. And I feel like Jay's already there. I kind of want to see Jay skip the IC title and go straight for that world title, man.
You just said you were a traditionalist. You
But
can't just skip the IC title and go for the world
the
title.
reason he could skip it is because he's already certified, man. He's how many tag team title reigns, and he's already been in the main event. So there's exceptions. I just feel like you can maybe get like you could heat that because they had it and they had the momentum where uh, uh Alpha Academy, Shorty G, Chad Gable, they had
Shorty G.
they had him in a position where like I thought he was gonna take it off of Gunther, and that would have like elevated him. I get it. Like I would definitely not be mad if Jay won the IC title, but I just wanna that's what you got the world title for, is for like Jay Uso to like really be main event Jay Uso. But it would be a hotter match at this point, having him and Gunther than him and Jimmy. So if they do it, him and Jimmy, I'm kind of curious to see how they circle back to around that one.
Yeah.
That was
Jay
your
Uso on number 3. Yep.
that was your number. Yeah, I said that was your number 3.
Yes, sir.
My number 3 is the Viper, Randy Orton. He qualified for the Elimination Chamber on SmackDown. And you mentioned The Rock, how good The Rock was in the ring. I feel like The Rock was like the precursor to what Randy Orton is now. Because I feel like The Rock was just so smooth in the ring. Like he didn't do anything wrong. But he wasn't out there like people didn't view him as like Bret Hart, like super technical. I feel like that's what Randy Orton is. Randy Orton's like super smooth in the ring, doesn't do anything wrong. So like those two are like in that aspect, even though they're different in most ways. But
I agree. I think the difference is the longevity of Randy Orton. If Rock would have stuck around maybe 5 more years, I think he would have that Randy Orton mystique. But like I said, The Rock literally wrestled for 7 years before he left. So, but I completely agree. I agree with you. The comparison with the first 2 third generation superstars in the history of wrestling, it's only it's only right that you compare them two to each other, right? Like they're the only third generation. I mean, there may be more now, but they were the first 2. The Rock was the first, and Orton was the second.
yeah, I think it's in that order too, as far as like mainstream wrestling goes. Because Rock, like you said, The Rock was the first, man. But yeah, that's our number 3. My number 2, because I wrote these out ahead of time, is somebody you mentioned, but you didn't pull the trigger on them. I got Bobby Lashley, number 2 for qualifying. Was that yesterday on Monday Night Raw?
Yep,
He
beat
beat
Bronson Reed,
Bronson Reed.
big
Put
meaty
that
man slapping me.
put that work on him, and I don't think we give enough praises to Bobby Lashley for looking like he's still 25. Man, doesn't age a bit.
Him and R-Truth.
Him too, yeah, him true. R-Truth is 50 too. Like Bobby's
52.
like 40.
Bobby's 47,
Yeah.
40, I think,
Yeah, you know what they say? It's Black History, man. Black don't crack.
at all.
Yeah, but Lashley's on number 2.
My number 2, since neither one of them won, Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland.
Oh,
Now, I ask you, EJ, did we see an under the radar double turn last Wednesday?
that's what I've been hearing whispers of, because Hangman was like, no more match time, 5 minutes. That is a heelish thing to do. I say they did like a soft double turn, but I don't know. I like Swerve's character how it is. I don't want to see him pandering. I just like how he's like not defined. He's just him.
I don't think he'll be pandering. I think he'll still be Swerve, only he'll do like he did this past week, where he's like, yo, 5 more minutes. Like, and he'll tell Nana, like, don't interfere, leave everybody in the back. Like, this is me.
So no more Nana dance, even though it's like super over.
Oh no, he'll still do the dance. I just don't want you cheating. You can dance all you want.
Gotcha.
I like Nana doing the his best Paul Bearer impression. Instead of raising the urn to get the Undertaker to come up, he started doing the fucking dance to get Swerve to jump back in the ring.
Yeah, man. Nana is like, he came out of Nah, nowhere. He was ROH and he did his grind. He did dark matches in WWE, but like he's like a hidden gem that's finally come on the surface, man. Like shout out to him for peaking later in his career.
Man, I could. What you're saying right now, I feel the same way about Stokely Hathaway.
Oh yeah, what he's doing
Like
with the Statlander.
we could do a whole fucking show on Stokely, man. He is so good. Um,
That's
but
a
yeah,
guy I want to see back in WWE. I feel like under Triple H, they would let him cook a little more. Stokely. I don't know what his contract was like with AEW, but like you said, what
he
he
was
was doing.
already in WWE. Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I just like to see him go back there because he was with Diamond Mine. He was before he left.
Yeah.
Fair to that. But yeah, shout out to Stokely.
My number one, is it really any question? Your new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Darby Allin and Sting. Also,
Yes,
shout
sir.
out to AEW on those tag team titles. I love those are my favorite tag team titles I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I said it when they first came out with them, when SCU won them, and the fact that they haven't changed them. They've changed the world title a little bit. They've made minor changes to it, and they've changed the women's title like 3 times. The fact they've left the tag title the same, I love it.
It changed the strap with the TNT. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, people used to do they used to do their own personal, like, remember, uh I can't think of my guy's name now.
Scorpio
Scorpio
Sky,
Sky. Yeah, he did the Los Angeles Lakers Kobe Bryant version, and somebody else had a
Miro,
red belt, somebody had a
Miro,
yellow belt. Yeah.
Miro had the white one. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said.
Shout out to AEW for not changing their tag titles around. I think honestly, just keep them like that forever. You don't ever need to change them. Those are some dope titles.
Yeah, so hats off to them for that one. Well, there's nothing more to add to that. My number one is the same as your number one, Sting and Darby Allin, your new AEW tag team champions. And let's see how that momentum carries in the Revolution.
I was so happy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just the little stinger came out. I ordered my face paint on Amazon the other day. It'll be here tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to start practicing on the design and shit like that. I think I'm gonna do half crow, half surfer sting.
God, that'd be dope. You're sitting pretty close to ringside, right?
4th row.
Yeah, maybe you could sneak up and get him to sign something. I already know you already met him in real life.
Well, they'll be here in Atlanta for Dynamite that Wednesday, and we couldn't get front row tickets. So you know what? I did one better. I got the very last row on the ramp, right next to the ramp.
Oh,
So I'm literally like, there's nobody behind us except for the fucking entranceway. So when he comes out and whoever else comes out, like I'll be able to get some really good pictures and shit like that. So that'll be pretty dope.
that's dope. Shout out to Sting, man. Let's celebrate his last month or so. That's less than a month because that's 1st March. Man, it's over, man.
I don't I don't get emotional over stuff a lot, but I feel like if I like get in my head, I might fucking break down, EJ, when we get there. Especially if the Bucks win. Oh my God, I might jump the barricade.
It's still real to me, damn it. Hey, man, let's just think about it. He just had some more bonus time because he wasn't even supposed to be here.
I know
We thought Seth put him in the dirt.
that's what's so good about it is the fact that, like, the whole time I've been watching wrestling, he's been my favorite wrestler, and it's literally the end now.
Yeah, every beginning has its end, but he's had a hell of a run, so just got to celebrate while we still have him for these next couple weeks.
If the Bucks win, I'm giving Matt Jackson that work. Actually, Nick Jackson. I like Matt Jackson. Nick Jackson, you better watch out.
You better start training because I think he's training toward that.
Huh?
I mean, they don't look like they can fight. You could probably watch them.
I'm not worried. Man, I'm calling my boy Phil from Chicago. We gonna get him motherfucker some work. You hear me?
Now that would pop ratings.
Yeah. Me and Phil jumping the barricade.
Man, CM Punk would destroy the Bucks in a real fight. That's what I heard happening backstage, but we'll never get the full story on that.
How you get beat up by CM Punk? And it's two of y'all. And you got Kenny Omega holding a dog in the corner. He don't even want the smoke. We would not be friends anymore, EJ. If me and you rolled up on somebody and they started whooping my ass and you just cowered in the corner and held the fucking puppy, we're not friends anymore. At least put him off me. You ain't got to jump him, but at least get the motherfucker off me.
I know, right? Hey, that's why there's levels to it. I mean, CM Punk got his ass whooped in UFC, but he was still training with professional fighters. So take that for what it is.
You know how I've always said I want the what is it? Not Beyond the Mat. What's the name? Dark Side of the Ring. I want the Dark Side of the Ring on all the like hookups and relationships in wrestling. I also want the Dark Side of the Ring on all the fights that took place. Like, I want to know what really happened with Jericho and Goldberg. I want to know. I want people to tell me, like, did Booker T really beat Batista's ass on that Chef Boyardee commercial set? Did Punk really beat up the Bucks?
Did Andrade really put paws on Sammy Guevara?
Did Punk really beat up fucking Jack Perry to the point where Tony thought he was gonna die?
We gotta get that. It'll never happen, but I pay money just to buy the stream or the DVD or whatever. How they release
Shelton Benjamin and Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar really just like beat the fuck out of everybody backstage to try to challenge him to a shoot wrestling match.
Yeah. Mark Henry already told the story, but who did he say he was back? I think it was Brock Lesnar back in like the OVW days. Like
he told a story about Shelton beating his ass too.
Yeah. He was like he challenged like anybody. It's like a challenge that he used to do after practice. And like I think Brock Lesnar stepped up to the plate and he had to like do something where he had to think quick where it didn't look like Brock Lesnar was getting the best of him. That's the story he told. But
yeah,
man.
He's talked about Shelton. I want to know if Booker T, when you go out in public and people challenge Booker T, and Booker was about that life. They say Ron Simmons is about that life. Ming, what's Haku? Yeah. They said Haku beat your motherfucking ass back in the day.
Yeah, I've heard the story. I don't know where it was. They have so many interviews online. They were like, they know if we were going out and Haku's with you, man, nothing was gonna happen because whoever had him on his side, the opposite side was gonna get that work.
I would love that.
Yeah, I like to see it happen, but it's definitely not gonna happen with guys that are still like pretty active to the business. But maybe we'll get it like 15 years down the line once people are like done. Like I said, I'd like to see something like that too.
Well, EJ, if you ain't got nothing else, man, we'll get up out of here. You got anything you want to say to the people?
Shout out to everybody listening. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube, follow the Podbean, and shout out to you on 80 Proof, and be on the lookout for Haymaker. We're dropping something this week as well. So that's all I got.
It's WrestleMania season.
Yes, sir.
So we're fucking full steam ahead. WrestleMania t-shirt week will be coming up pretty soon, but it's fucking WrestleMania season. We got one PLE coming up. Also, I'm excited about that. One of my favorite golf tournaments of the year is the British Open, the Open Championship now. You can wake up at 4 a.m. and golf is on live because it's on the other side of the world. I think the Elimination Chamber is live at what, like 5 a.m. here? That's going to be fun. I'm going to wake up, make me some breakfast, pancakes, eggs, and bacon, have me a Bloody Mary, watch me a fucking PLE before 9 a.m., and go back to sleep.
Now, you being in Georgia, I thought you would have been a Masters guy.
I love the Masters, but it was just always something about the British Open, like waking up. Also, like, not to get too deep into golf, but the Masters always has this weird coverage thing about it. So, like, it doesn't come on until 3 o'clock. So, like, all the good players will be playing early in the morning, and you don't get the coverage until 3 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. And it's just not. I love the Masters, but their coverage is just, it's outdated.
Yeah, update that. Don't have
Yeah,
an antiquated method of doing that.
I've been to the Masters once.
Oh,
It was a lot of fun. They don't let you take your phone and cameras in there, so I got no pictures. Um, but went. That was where I discovered my love for pimento cheese. Pimento cheese sandwiches. I think I have 4 cups over there that say Masters 2017 on them. You drink soda or water, they give you a clear cup. You drink alcohol, you get a green cup, and you get to keep them. So I brought those back. I got a hat, I got a polo shirt, and it's just, I hate to sound corny and like an old man, but I've never seen greener grass in my life that was just so well maintained than what was at the Masters.
yeah. Those groundkeepers, I might be wrong, but I want to say they get like 6 figures just because it has to be pristine.
And Augusta's it's not a public course, but it's a private course. So when they're not having the Masters there, there's just rich people playing on it all the fucking time. Like, could you imagine being a member at Augusta National? Like, and then you go see Tiger fucking playing on it one Sunday a year. It's like, I mean, shit, you might run into somebody playing there,
Of
but
course.
that's out of. They probably pay more in fees per year than I make in a year. You know what I mean? To be a member of Augusta. So,
Yeah. That's
but yeah,
definitely
British
FU money.
British Open's my favorite tournament to watch. The Masters is probably my favorite tournament, but the British Open just brings a different vibe to it. The Masters is obviously more prestigious, but I've always been a fan of just waking up and being like, "Fuck yeah, golf is on." And by the time the first round is over, it's like 10:30. You still got the rest of the day. That's why I like the West Coast.
And you're like the hell with the PGA championship.
Yeah, I like the West Coast. Let me move out there and fucking football's on at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. for college. Like, could you imagine? Your team plays at noon on the East Coast, and you fucking wake up at 9 o'clock. The game's over by 12:30. You got the rest of the day.
Yeah, man. Hey, the only thing annoying about living on the West Coast was that you have to wake up for at the, before 9, but that's what the time the college game started at 9 over there. That was terrible.
Yeah, I wonder if when I lived on the West Coast, I wasn't old enough to like be going to bars and shit. But I wonder if they have bars that open specifically for college football and shit that come on early, or like NFL games start at fucking 10 a.m. Or the bars open and serving alcohol at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I was living in Oregon and they had a bar that we would watch the games at, and they be 9 o'clock in the morning, they be open, but like you said, it's like it's a good thing and a bad thing. If you're an early riser, that's pretty dope to have cereal and watching college football. But I like to drink while I watch football. And 9 o'clock, that's a little bit early.
Let me go to the bar at 9 a.m. Let me get a fucking omelet, a cheesesteak omelet, and a fucking Bloody Mary. Then maybe I
Ugh.
might follow it up with a couple beers after that, or a Jack and Ginger. You know what I mean? Game's over by 12:30. Fucking Uber home. Little little midday nap. Are you kidding me? This all sounds lovely.
Yeah, but it's usually the crappy games that are at 9. You get the good games that don't come on till like 12. So you can't go home at 12. That's when the good game comes on.
Fucking get up, go to the gym,
True.
get your little breakfast in, and you go to brunch and watch the game. Like, come on, this everything about it I love so far. Like, you're not talking me out of it at all.
I mean, you could do that now though, because that's when the crappy games start, like at 12 here. So you get a little brunch with the crappy games.
I'm a Cowboys fan. All our games start at 4 o'clock or
Oh, so
later.
now we talking about NFL. I was still talking about college.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia plays at usually at 3:30.
Yeah, that's the game they usually play in. It's usually like the Vandy's playing on at noon your time, 11 o'clock
Yeah.
my time.
Yep. But
But yeah, like you said, I didn't really realize the open championship was your favorite, but
Elimination Chamber, man, 5 a.m. I'm gonna be awake for it. Set me a little
what
alarm.
is that this weekend?
No, it's the following weekend.
Oh,
So
so I guess we got to
less than
preview it
2
next
weeks.
week.
Yep. Next week we'll do the preview for Elimination Chamber. and it will be that weekend. And after that, man, it's fucking full steam ahead to WrestleMania.
Yes, sir.
Yep. For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Tune in next week, same time, same place. Until then, peace.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in